Hey everyone, Chef Jean-Paul here, back again with Loco Cookers, and I'm smoking a half turkey. I'm gonna show you how I do it and how versatile this grill is when even smoking a larger chunk of meat. First, I want to season my half turkey and also inject it, so let's get started with that. What I like to do before I inject it is actually season the bottom side first with my rub. And this really just helps so you're not moving the bird around too much when you inject it, because you want to keep as much of that injection in the bird as possible. You got my bottom done, and then I'm going to flip it over. Now I can go ahead and inject it. What I'm using for injection is a barbecue sauce that I grew up with called Jack Miller's. It's a Cajun barbecue sauce. What I did is I pureed it with a little bit more oil and a little bit more vinegar, so it made it nice and smooth so I could get it through the injecting needle. Now what's important when injecting is you want to make as little holes as possible in these sections. First we're going to start with the leg and thigh. I want to find where the thigh and the drum meet in that bone, and it's right around this little area. Fill your injection needle. I'm just going to go in through the skin. Try not to pop through the other side, and I'm just going to go into this leg meat all the way at the end, and I'm going to start injecting. And as I inject, you can see it fill up. I'm just gonna back my needle out a little bit and just hit a different area of the thigh, right? I just back it out. You can see it fill up. Fill my plunger again. I'm gonna give now the leg meat some of that. Going through the same hole, I can access my leg meat. I push in my needle all the way to the end. I'm all the way over here. You can see right where my thumb is where the tip of that needle is. I'm gonna take my plunger and slowly start injecting that. You can see that leg start to fill up with juice. I'm not coming out of the hole, and I'm gonna go into that next area above the bone and on the other side of the leg. And I'm just gonna fill it up right there. Now, I'm gonna keep moving that needle around. You see I'm stretching that skin, and I'm gonna finish that plunge. So now I've injected this whole leg from in to this far side to this top side, all through one hole. Now that our leg quarters, our dart meat is injected, it's time to focus on our breast portion. Find the center kind of area of the breast, which is right around here. I want to access, again, one puncture hole, and I want to access my different parts of the breast by that one puncture hole. Again, we don't want to go, we just want to go through the meat and into that flesh. Then I'm going to direct my needle towards the bottom, not going through the bottom of the breast. So I'm just going to give it a pump. Boop, you can see it. I'm going to back it out. Give it one more pump to get that middle breast. And then I'm going to use that needle and then get right against the bone where that drum is meeting in that joint. And I'm going to give it the rest of that pump just all around that bone section. I can see my puncture hole right here. I'm going to go right into that puncture hole again. And now I'm going to get all this top portion of the breast. Again, not going through the skin. You're really starting to fill up now. I know I'm running out of space, right? And lastly, it's time for the wings. Now, what I like to do is come from that top portion of the wing. And so I'm gonna try to go right in between, just poking through the skin. I'm gonna go all the way to the edge of that joint and start pushing that injection through that flat portion of the wing. Then I'm gonna go into that drum, fill that bone with the needle, and then fill her up. See that happening, boom. Now that I'm injected, I got all the injection that I want in there. What I like to do is just take, I'm not gonna use all of it, but just almost as a binder, and then just rub that onto my skin. And then all the different area of that turkey. It's a good way to use some injection that you might have left over. Take the rest of my seasoning here and just give it a good liberal shake over the whole bird. That looks pretty good. Now, smoker set at 250 degrees, which is exactly the temperature I'm going to run this injected and rubbed turkey, bound for the smoker, and who knows what other recipes we can make for it once it's done. There we go. It's gonna sit nice and pretty right there. I'm looking for an internal temperature about 160 degrees on this turkey, so we got some time. All right, folks, the time is here. The Loco probe is saying 159, and that's close enough to 160 for me right now. And so it hit a 160 internal. We're gonna let it rest for 10 to 20 minutes, and we're gonna cut into it, and And we're about to see just how moist and juicy this turkey cooks on this kettle grill. If you ever wanted to hunt with us, now's your chance. If you're watching this, that means Duck Camp Dinners Season 4 is out, and I'm giving away a hunt with me and the rest of the DCD crew for you and a buddy. Here's how you got to enter. Make sure you go to your latest Duck Camp Dinners episode or all episodes. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with a hunting buddy or just somebody else that just might like the show. You can enter as many times as you want. And after all 8 episodes are out, we're going to go ahead and pick a winner. Good luck, guys. I hope to see you in the duck blind next season. Remember, shoot straight and come hungry. Today, I'm doing smoked turkey enchiladas. If you saw previous recipes and previous video of our smoked turkey on this same grill, that's the same turkey that I'm pulling apart and putting inside these enchiladas. All right, first I want to do is just cut a couple onions. I just need kind of a medium to large dice, because those are going to get sauteed in a cast iron pan with a little bit of oil and some of the smoked turkey legs. Now this turkey was injected and smoked, and so all that injection is just keeping that meat nice and moist and juicy. I'm just pulling large chunks knowing that I'm gonna cook these with some onions and cilantro and a little bit of chicken broth. So I don't want to get them too shredded because I know they have more cooking to go. All right, our onions are cut, our turkey is pulled, and our skillet is hot. It's time to get it all together on that kettle grill. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil. This is grapeseed oil. And then I'm gonna go right in with my onions first. I'm gonna let those saute for just a second, and then I'm gonna add my turkey once those onions start to soften a bit. Our onions are starting to pick up a little caramelization off the bottom of the pan. Now is the perfect time to add some of that pulled turkey meat into the skillet. Our turkey and our onions have been on the grill cooking, kind of slow sauteing over the last 15 minutes. Let's take a look here. I can see that pan starting to see like a little bit of dryness to it, which is good. It means we're cooking out some of that water and fat. I'm gonna add a little bit of this is my Creole tomato blend, but it's just what I have left, and it's a good kind of seasoning. Another little substitute for this would be like a taco seasoning or something with, good amounts of coriander and cumin to it. Get some of that seasoning in there, then we'll just add some chicken stock to this pan and just let it simmer for another 15 minutes over the fire. Our enchilada filling is almost done in the kettle grill, so I want to chop some cilantro to finish it off with. All right, filling is looking good. That's just the right amount of moisture that I want inside of the enchilada. I'm gonna finish it with a big old heaping handful of chopped fresh cilantro. We're gonna stir it in, just very briefly, and then pull it right off of the grill. Then I'm gonna take it, dump it right on this pan. And this is what I'm gonna use to work off of when I make my filling. I'm gonna put the enchiladas right back in this cast iron. All right, before I start rolling enchiladas and putting them in my cast iron, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil back to the bottom and just a touch of the enchilada sauce on the bottom there too, just to give some lubrication and some moisture before I set those enchiladas down. Very simple. Flour tortilla, pulled turkey, and then nice tight roll. There you go. Just kind of layer them like that. This is just extra enchilada filling that I have. I don't have enough room in my pan, nor do I have enough filling for a whole enchilada. Instead of wasting it or saving for another dish, just go to right on top. Now, if you know how to make your own enchilada sauce, I suggest you use your homemade enchilada sauce, but I love this enchilada sauce, straight from the can, from the grocery store. And it just reminds me of something when my mom made tacos or enchiladas growing up. So I'm just gonna use a whole can right on top, and then just some shredded cheese. And before I go back onto the grill, I'm adding a couple hickory chunks just to get some of those smoke flavors into the final bake of this enchilada dish. It should sit around 300, 350 degrees. I'm gonna close the lid, still on its sear function, with a full vent open so I get max amount of airflow to really incorporate that smoke into this dish. Our enchilada's been cooking on the grill for about 20 minutes, about 350 degrees. Let's take a look. My goodness, those things look unreal. It's exactly where we want. That enchilada sauce bubbling, that cheese fully melted. You can even see the dry parts of these tortillas starting to toast. This is looking incredible. Let's see if I can get it out without burning myself. What I like to do is just finish this off with just some rough torn cilantro. You really want to let this set for like 10 minutes. It's kind of like lasagna. The longer you let it kind of sit and rest, the better it's going to be, but you still want to eat it hot.